Hey there. There's a version of this introduction where I tell you all of my credentials first, where I lead with the professional biography and let the authority do the work of earning your trust. I'm not gonna do that. What I'll tell you instead is that I built this course because I needed it. Not in the abstract sense of someone who studies a subject and decides to teach it, but in the specific uncomfortable sense of someone who spent years being quietly managed by patterns they couldn't quite name. Behaviours that made sense on the surface, that even looked like strengths, but were running on an older operating system. One written in circumstances I'd long since left behind. I've worked in sound design for a long time. I've built a career around listening to space, to silence, to the way atmosphere shapes what people feel without them even knowing why. That work taught me something that took much longer to apply to myself. That what's underneath is always doing more work than what's on top. Jung called it the shadow, the part of us that doesn't make it into the version we present to the world, not because it's broken, but because at some point it just wasn't safe, it wasn't welcome, or it wasn't useful enough to keep in the light. So it went somewhere else, and from somewhere else, it kept working. This course is 28 days of going to find it. Not to fix it, not to eliminate it, to understand it. Which is a different thing entirely. And in my experience, the only thing that actually changes anything. So 28 days, 4 weeks, each one building directly on the last. The first week is all about honest self-observation, mapping the territory before any work begins. The second week, we'll get a bit more specific. We look at the patterns, where your shadow shows up in daily life, your reactions, your relationships, and things that hook you when you'd rather they didn't. The third week, we'll be bringing in the philosophical tools, the Stoics, Nietzsche, Frankl, not as theory but as practical equipment for working with what you've uncovered. And the fourth week, that's all about integration, the slow, deliberate work of building something genuinely new from what you now understand about yourself. Along the way, you'll work with some material that doesn't show up in conventional self-help. You'll examine the gap between the self you perform and the self that actually exists. You'll trace your hypervigilance, that scanning system that reads rooms and predicts threats and never fully rests, back to where it started. You'll look at your relationship with authority, with approval, with the persistent sense that something is not quite enough. You'll sit with amor fati, the Stoic and Nietzschean idea of not merely accepting your life but genuinely wanting it exactly as it has been. And in the final week, you'll do the work of replacing an inherited internal standard, one you never consciously chose, with one that is actually yours. Each session is designed to give you one thing, a genuine shift in how you see yourself. Not information, not content, a moment where something that was previously running in the background comes into focus, and you recognize it. That moment is uncomfortable, almost every time. I've done this work, I'm still doing this work. I'm not standing outside looking in, I'm in it with you, one step ahead at most. What I can offer is a guide who has walked the same territory, someone who knows where the ground gets soft, where the mind wants to look away, and what it looks like when something that has had its hand on your behavior for 20 years finally loosens its grip. That's what this is. I'm glad you're here. So let's begin. My name is Carl.